Peace and greetings. Peace and greetings. Goddess Queen Ja's here and make it make sense. My goddess. All right. So these bears are going to be here with us today. Okay, pillow. These bears and this pillow are going to be with us here today while I talk about spiritual ailments, spiritual causes for physical ailments. So if you're watching on the replay, welcome. I am Goddess Queen Ja'ast. I am a spiritual life coach, a teacher, professor, mom, instructor, just all the magnificent things, right? And I am at today's been 7 days since I got sick. So I got sick last week, Tuesday, flying through Cancun's airport. And when I got sick, I thought, okay, this is just regular food poisoning and, I'll be all right. I don't usually get sick. I don't usually get food poisoning. I don't usually have anything happen to me. I've been traveling around the world as a nomad for 2 years, and I've never had real sickness. So when I got sick, I was like, okay, this is different. This is interesting. But let me just work through it. I was trying my best to work through it. And when I say work through it for me is herbs. Work through it for me is natural things that help me to rebuild my immune system. So I thought, let me just go ahead and work through it. Went through the process of trying to work through it, and things got worse. Things got progressively worse. And when things got worse, I said, okay, let me have real Western prescription medication. Let me take the big boy stuff because, yeah. And if I do have any type of bacterial infection, it doesn't take any more than probably about 2 or 3 days for me to clear that out. This took 7 days for me to get this out of my system. And the question is why? Why did it take that long? Well, lo and behold, not only was this infection and parasite affecting my body, but it was also affecting my mind and my feelings. Like, this parasite was a 3-part parasite. It was mind, body, and spirit. And it took me a little second to become aware of that. When I say a little second, I mean like 4 days in, my mind was just like, I'm confused. I can't think properly. I can't focus properly. Like, what is going on? And then with me spiritually, I started to feel just very all over the place, and not like I had the ability to tap into my intuition and to read the way I normally read. And so that experience is what prompted me to do this particular workshop, this particular session on physical ailments, but spiritual causes. Almost every single time I've gotten any type of physical ailment, I go online and I look up the reason for this physical ailment. I spend a lot of time looking at spiritual causes of ailments that pop up in my body. And I do that because I know that everything is connected. Not just, everything is connected. Everything that happens in my life, it happens for a reason. None of that. But everything is connected, as in everything that you experience in the physical body is connected to emotional, experiences and even mental experiences. It's one of the reasons why I know everybody's going vegan and vegetarian and stuff these days, but it's one of the reasons why, like, I support all of the meatless lifestyles. I support all the meatless lifestyles because meat has a chemical compound in it called casein, and casein has been known to feed cancer. Yes, feed cancers, feed tumors. There is a order of operations when it comes to like sicknesses, diseases, toxins, parasites in the body. There's an order of operations. When your body is experiencing something, and let's say that experience is not even, let's say it's something simple. Let's say it's experiencing grief. Let's say you lost a family member. So grief in and of itself is the simple feeling that you're experiencing. And let's say you continue to battle that grief and hold on to that grief, and you struggle with that grief. Eventually, that grief is going to take up residence in your physical body. So you'll have a space in your physical body for grief, right? Now, after grief moves into your body and takes up space, then the things that you eat can feed that grief. That grief can be fed by the things that you're consuming, by the things that you're eating. And let's say eating physically, but eating with your eyes, eating with your ears, that you're consuming, that you're bringing into your body. So that grief can be fed. It starts to eat of that energy. Now, you carry that grief, you carry it for days, weeks, months, and then months turn into years. And now that grief has become fibroids. And those fibroids are sitting in your womb space. And you are feeding those fibroids. You are feeding them with a variety of different things. White flour, white pasta, sugars. You're feeding that energy with things that are toxic, essentially, to your body, but yummy to that fibroid, yummy to that ball of energy that is taking up residence in your body. And that becomes a thing, because after time, that fibroid grows. After time, that fibroid causes obstruction in the body that leads to other things. Like, remember what I said, your body is your house. It's a temple. It's a temple. Okay? If you want to compare it to an element of nature, your body can be like your garden. And when you bring in a weed, when a weed pops up in your garden, and it's being fed, it's being nurtured, you're watering the weed, then it's going to continue to grow. And it may even bring its weedy little friends. It may even bring its weedy little friends. Just simply because it is a weed in your garden. So that is how toxins in the body work. They pop up and then we feed them. So when you're sick, instead of just looking at it as a sickness and saying, okay, I randomly have a flu, or I randomly have the cold, go look up the spiritual cause of that sickness. Go look up the spiritual cause of this disease. Look up the spiritual cause of this infection. Why are you really here? What is this related to? Sometimes you look at the list of infections. Sometimes you look at the list of diseases. Sometimes you look at the list of sicknesses, and you see that certain sicknesses are related to issues that are perpetual. I remember looking up the sickness for the cause for asthma, or I think it was allergies or something like that. And it was like the cause behind it was not feeling good enough. Not feeling good enough. And that's what was leading to asthma or to allergies or needing to be seen. I can't remember if it was asthma or allergies, but one of these was not feeling good enough and wanting to feel seen or wanting to have a certain amount of attention. Every single physical ailment that we have ever had, every sickness that we've ever had, every virus that we've ever had, anything that we've ever had in our body has a spiritual cause. It's not happenstance that some people get HIV and then other people never have to worry about HIV. It's not happenstance that some people get pneumonia or SARS or diseases that we've never even heard of. There's some diseases that you've never even heard of that people have been living with their whole lives. And there's a spiritual reason why they have that disease. Physical ailments are not out of the clear blue sky. I mean, remember, you love to say everything happens for a reason. Remember, that's your thing. That's your thing. Your thing is nothing is a coincidence, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, give thanks and praise. If nothing is a coincidence, then that means that that person specifically got that disease or that sickness or that illness. So tell me why. Because it's a spiritual cause. And it always connects on 3 levels. It always connects mind, body, spirit. Always. Always. Because all 3 of these are essentially connected. All 3 things are essentially connected. So that means that if I am experiencing the mental health symptom of depression, right? Then there's a spiritual element behind it. And that spiritual element with depression is not feeling loved, feeling empty, feeling worthless. That's the spiritual aspect of it. That's how the soul is feeling. But then, remember, this is mental health. And then that's the spiritual. But then the physical body, it starts to go through changes. Because of the fact that I am experiencing depression, then now I'm not eating. Peace and greetings, Robin, Grand Rise. Now I'm not eating. Now I don't want to touch my food. Now I don't want to come outside. I don't want to be social. I don't want to be around people. I don't want to do anything because now I'm suffering from severe depression. This is not physical ailments. Listen. Physical ailments, and I don't care what that physical ailment is, from cancer to tumor to heart palpitations or strokes to high cholesterol, any diabetes, any ailment that is affecting the body physically, fibroids, any ailment that's affecting the body physically also has a mental and spiritual component. There is a spiritual cause. There is a spiritual cause. I used to be very dismissive when my mother would use the term about spiritual warfare. I used to be very dismissive. Like, Ma, ain't nobody spiritual warfare. Where, Ma? How? Like, I used to be very dismissive because I didn't really believe in spiritual warfare. I didn't really understand the principle of spiritual warfare. Like, what does that even mean, right? But I did understand the concept of evil eye. So for those of you who have been, or bad eye, those of you who have been exposed to Caribbean people may have heard of this. Evil eye or bad eye is something that we refer to when you don't want people watching certain things that are very precious to you. So, for example, there's 2 things that come to mind. In the Caribbean, a lot of us tie up our hair, especially when we're just starting our locks. Now, my locks are clearly very long. I do not have baby locks anymore. Give thanks and praise. But when we are starting our lock journey, we tend to wrap up our heads, right? And we wrap up our head because we don't want evil eye. We don't want anybody bad eyeing our locks. And that's because our locks are newborn babies. The locks are newborns. And so it's the same way for your actual newborn baby. You wrap up your baby. You don't bring the baby outside of the house. And I'm just speaking about Caribbean culture. Everybody, knows that. Not everybody knows that. But if you read my book, Goddess Awakening, you will know that I am of Trinidadian descent. I'm a Trinidadian woman. Trinidadian American, or Trinidadian African, I should say. So you don't want anybody eyeing these things or speaking negatively or putting any type of negative vibration towards these newborn elements, the newborn element of your hair or the baby. So you wrap it up. You keep it wrapped up. Now, why am I bringing that up in connection with spiritual warfare? Evil eye represents a sense of spiritual warfare. When someone is dedicating energy, it's just energy. When someone is dedicating energy to you in a negative form, in a negative format, in a negative way, then that is like an attack. That's an attack. And so you are being entered in to a sense of spiritual warfare. Have you ever walked into a job and the job environment, the job climate is very hostile? You ever walked into a hostile environment? You ever walked into a room where people were talking about you? Where people had things to say about you and you could feel like something is off when you walk in the room? Have you ever walked in a room where you didn't quite feel welcomed? Where you didn't quite feel like you were supposed to be there, like you belonged? All those things represent elements of spiritual warfare. All of those things represents elements of spiritual warfare. All of those things. And it's important for you to be able to recognize when something is off with you, or when your body is trying to speak to you and tell you, hey, hello. Because ultimately the body is so resilient. I have to make a point of saying that the body is resilient, because sometimes we forget how resilient the body is. The body deals with infection all the time, and the body shuts that down all the time. That's why we have mucus in our body. The mucus is a lining to try and protect our body from, shutting down. We have mucus lining in our respiratory system. We have mucus lining in our vaginal body. We have mucus lining all throughout our body. It's the overabundance of mucus that means something's not right, that it's not healthy. But mucus is a necessary component for us in terms of our defense system. So when it comes to the body is so resilient. Before you take a pill, before you drink anything, before you put anything in the body to try to kill off an infection, the body's already trying to kill off infections. But you have to tap in and be more aware. You have to tap in and be more aware and understand and understand when things are not just physical, but it's not just a physical ailment, but it's a spiritual and emotional component as well. Ask yourself, when you're not feeling well, and you have a headache, ask yourself, what is this headache really related to? Because sometimes it could be mental. And mental, not in the sense that you're making it up, but mental in the sense that you're not getting enough oxygen into the brain. Are you getting enough oxygen? Or is the body saying, you're thinking so many thoughts, but you're not bringing enough oxygen in here? And so now the brain has a fog. So now you have a headache. So now you can't think clearly. And spiritually, on the backside of it, so you have the headache. That's the physical manifestation. The mental manifestation is, Oh my gosh, my brain is fogged up. I can't think clearly. But then the emotional manifestation is neglect. I don't have a minute to stop and just take care of myself. The emotional component, the spiritual component is I'm not loving on myself right now. Right now, I just need to be in go mode. I just need to get it done. So I'm not being loving towards myself right now. I don't see the value of myself in this moment. So that's 3 different levels. That's 3 different levels. And so that is what we're speaking about. The infections that enter our body are not just physical infections. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this particular session, I had a parasite. And that parasite was beyond beyond what I had ever experienced before. Beyond what I had ever experienced before. I had never experienced a parasitic infection that completely tried to drain my physical body, but also prevented me from thinking. I couldn't even think clearly. I couldn't focus. I couldn't think clearly. I wasn't really aware. I was just going through the emotions of things. I was just following a script. I wasn't analyzing. I wasn't able to reason. I wasn't in possession of my intuition. Can I tell you that when digestive things are occurring in your body, that is a red flag. When you are dealing with digestive issues, when anything is happening in your gut, that is a red flag. Your intestines, I know they tell you this is your brain, okay? But this is not really your brain. Your gut is your brain, really. Your gut is really your brain. And the thing about your gut as your brain is it makes sense when you sit back and think about it, because with your gut being your brain, it's why food has become so relevant to your survival. Because when you're eating things that are destructive to your body, you're also destroying your brain. You can't function properly. You can't think properly. Some of us are scattered. Some of us are all over the place. Some of us are just struggling on a regular basis to function in the way that we can at optimum level, simply because our guts are unhealthy. Our intestines are full of junk. Our intestines have things that are unprocessed and unresolved in our intestines, and we continue to put more food and more food and more food in that sack. So when I say to you that your diseases, your infections, any sickness that you get, any physical ailment that you get has a spiritual cause. Any physical ailment that you get absolutely positively has a physical cause. Every single one. Oh, I gotta get my water. Y'all, I'm back drinking some little apple cider vinegar. I don't even know why I say I'm back to drinking it. This is like my first time really drinking it, because I have not been team apple cider vinegar. I know everybody swears by it, give thanks and praise, but I have not been team apple cider vinegar. It's just whoop-de-doo, right? Every physical ailment you have has a spiritual cause. So in my book, Goddess Awakening, if you have not gotten the book by now, go ahead and download it on Audible. If you're in Atlanta, I'll be doing a book signing and printing out some copies for you in the next upcoming weeks. So every Goddess Awakening says, not I, Goddess. Apple cider vinegar is too strong for my gut. Listen, when I tell you I'm so tired of it, I'll be like, apple cider vinegar. People swear by it. And they swear by it for, I don't care what ailment you have. You could be like, you know what? I think I'm going blind. I think I can't see in one eye. They be like, girl, apple cider vinegar. No, ma'am. Ma'am, no. Okay? No, ma'am. Apple cider vinegar is not a cure-all. So at any rate, in my book, I talk about, I talk loosely about my gallbladder. Okay. So I talk loosely about my gallbladder and how I had a lot of issues with my gallbladder. So basically, about 10 years ago, I was well over 200 pounds. And 200 pounds of anger, 200 pounds of rage, 200 pounds of hurt, 200 pounds of sickness, just 200 pounds of a lot of issues. And I was eating so recklessly at that time in my life. And when I was that big, I ended up having a gallbladder attack. And when I had this gallbladder attack, right before I had the gallbladder attack, I went to the massage parlor. Okay, I went to the massage parlor. I went to go get a massage, and when I went to go get that massage, the guy who was working on my feet, he was Asian, and he kept massaging this one particular area of my foot. And when I tell you all, that area hurt so bad, okay? And I was just squirming and fidgeting and uncomfortable. I'm like, why does he keep massaging this one area? It's like he had zoomed in on one particular area of my foot. He kept massaging this one area of my foot. So I'm like, I don't understand what this guy is doing. He's trying to kill me, okay? So he saw me squirming, he saw me uncomfortable, and he started to try to communicate with me. But of course, you know, I don't speak his native language. I don't know what he spoke, but I don't speak that. And I don't want to assume it's Chinese or Korean or Japanese. I don't know what it was, but it was an Asiatic language, and I didn't speak that. So he was trying to communicate with me, and because I didn't understand, he picked up like a map, a foot map. Right. Reflexology. Thank you. My words. I'll be grasping. So he picked up a reflexology chart with the different areas of the foot, right? And so he was pointing to the part of the foot that he was massaging, the part of the foot that was making me squirm like that. So I'm looking at this part of the foot, and it, of course, it would be written in Chinese, right? Or Japanese or Korean or whatever, right? So I was like, okay, I see this part, but I don't know what this is. So let me take out my phone and let me look it up. So I took out my phone and I looked it up. When I looked it up on the phone, y'all, it said gallbladder. It said gallbladder. It said gallbladder. That's what it said, gallbladder. This area is for the gallbladder. And so I was like, okay, gallbladder. Like, at that time, I hadn't had any awareness or anything that something was going on with my gallbladder. I had no clue. The next morning, I got up and I released. And it was the first time I released that much stuff from my intestines in a very long time. And I continued to do so over the next few days. But by the next week or 2 weeks, I had a gallbladder attack, full-on attack. Went to the hospital. They pulled up an x-ray, right? Because they need the x-rays. He need the foot, they need the x-ray. So they pulled up an x-ray of my gallbladder, showed me a picture of my gallbladder. My gallbladder was finished, full of bile, okay? Most of the time they don't teach us what the gallbladder actually does. The gallbladder is the organ that processes and breaks down bile in the body. So this gallbladder was full of bile. And I was like, whoa. They were like, we're going to have to take this out. So I was like, all right, you know, do what you need to do. Take it out. If that's what I need, then let's go ahead and do that. When they went to take out my gallbladder, you know, it's supposed to be a simple surgery. They tell you simple surgery, y'all. You're going to be on the beach by Friday. We'll do it on Tuesday, on the beach by Friday. Went and had that gallbladder surgery. And when I tell you, when I woke up, I was like, who ran me over with a 16-wheeler? Because I was hurt. I was exhausted. I felt it. I felt every single piece of it. And the doctor came in with a team of about 12 people. I'm sitting over there with my nightgown on, with my ass hanging out. He come in with about 12 people. And he says, you know, He's like, Goddess, we had a situation with your gallbladder that we never encountered before. And I said, well, what do you mean? What's going on? He said, when we went in to go take out your gallbladder, we realized that there was actually another piece. The gallbladder had started to create another gallbladder in another area of my body. So I had one gallbladder, and then it had extended itself and buried itself and started to create another, almost like a reservoir of a gallbladder. And we had to go take them out, take both pieces out. And I was like, wow. Not just wow because of the whole surgery, but wow because of my gallbladder creating another piece to try and survive. And wow that this guy who gave me a foot massage was able to pinpoint that my gallbladder was even under attack in the first place. Wow. Like, everything with your body is connected. Think of your body the way you think about Mother Earth. When women tell me that they don't like nature, I be like, that's so weird. You are nature. When they say, I don't like outside, I don't like nature, I'm allergic. How? This is part of who you are. This is what you are. Nature, Mother Earth is a creatrix. She is the creatrix of all things. She made all things. When we look at this thing, this is like the globe, right? Let's imagine that this is the globe. When we look at the globe and we look at all the things that have come from the globe, what we remember is that this entity, it is woman. It is creatrix. It is the one that brings forth life. So if our body is like the whole globe, if our body is like nature, if our body is nature, then that means that anything that is put on this force of nature that doesn't belong, it's going to wreak havoc. It's going to wreak chaos. It's going to wreak chaos on the body. It's not a happenstance that we get infection. You know, when the pandemic first popped off, one of the biggest concerns that teachers of young children had over those children is that by covering them, you're prohibiting them from getting infection. And infection is what makes your immune system get stronger. We evolve. We get stronger when we go through and fight the parasite, when we go through and fight the infection, when we go through and fight that bacteria. Our bodies come out stronger on the other side. We're not powerless. We're not weak. We come out stronger on the other side, which is why it's so important to know what you're fighting against. Remember, I brought up the term spiritual warfare. What are you fighting against? Because there is a spiritual cause of your physical ailment. There is a spiritual cause for every single physical ailment. Every single physical ailment that exists has a spiritual cause and a mental health association. It is 3-part. It is mind, body, spirit. So every single thing that you experience in your physical body also has the mental portion and the spiritual component also attached to it. So when you're fighting, don't just fight the elements on a physical level. Don't fight them. Fight all of it. Fight all of it. Identify what the mental aspect of it is. Okay, so for me, I was feeling real powerless with that parasite, and then got another infection on top of that. I was feeling real powerless. I was feeling real all over the place. Okay, but I had to go back and to challenge my mind and to say, what do I need to know in this moment? And of course, went back to my what would be my Bible, right? This would be my Bible, the Sacred Woman book. And one of the first things that I had to wake up and acknowledge is that, first of all, we're doing sacred healing right now. We're in that portion. And one of the things that the sacred healing creed says is, I am not powerless. I am not powerless. Because I was feeling powerless. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick. Like, Just take me to the clinic. Just take me to the hospital. Just take me anywhere. At this point, I'm tired of being sick. It's been 3 days. It's been 4 days. It's been 5 days. Like, I'm uncomfortable. Y'all, I'm waking up in the middle of the night, pooping in the bed. Like, it's not okay. Your girl was not okay. Okay? Your girl was not okay. All right? And then I couldn't function on a mental level. I was already feeling not okay, but on a spiritual level, because it's in my gut, then my intuition is compromised. Okay, people are offering me medicine and I don't know if I should take it or not take it, because I'm like, I don't know. I'm not feeling like myself. It's an element of spiritual warfare. This is spiritual warfare, but I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't privy to it. I give thanks and praise that everything happens in divine alignment in my life, and everything is always working out for my good, because my sisters had my back in terms of making sure that they suggested proper herbs for me. In Mexico, a young lady, before I left, she gave me a dream pack, a detox. She gave me walnut shells or something like that, which is akin to wormwood. I usually use wormwood. She gave me walnut shells. So I'm drinking walnut shell tea. Then I had my student, little goddess right here, suggest yoni steaming to clear up any infections down there, or hip baths, what they would call it. Like, everybody has been and it's just this week. It's just the last 7 days. All of a sudden, it's been pouring in like a hurricane. Like, here's a resource. Here's a resource. Don't forget this. Don't forget that. Oh yeah, what about this? I had to rediscover oil of oregano. I've been going for so long without these particular tools that I had forgot. Your girl is an oil of oregano user. I'm an advocate for oil of oregano. So I had to go back, because oil of oregano is not just for killing the parasites, but it's also for mental clarity as well. And oregano, they call it albahaca in Mexico. They use the raw leaves. That's what they be slapping people with. Blowing water in your face and slapping you with albahaca leaves. So basil and oregano are two powerful agents. I even forgot about that. I came to visit my mom. My mom's pulling out jars. I want to show y'all the jars. Let me show y'all the jars real quick, just so y'all can laugh with me, so we can all ha 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 together. Okay. So y'all know the juice that they sell in stores is not ever real juice. It's always full of sugar. Okay. Always full of sugar. So my mom usually buys, we all in this house usually buy some form of organic juice, right? There's this organic juice, and then there's a juice that we buy that will say like raw juice, right? So it'll be like pure blah, blah, blah juice, pure apple juice, pure blah, blah, blah. And not from concentrate, but pure juice, right? So of course it's much more expensive than everything else on the shelves. But this brand is pretty good for selling fresh juice. And they also have a pure juice with nothing else added. Right. Give thanks and praise. Now, this that you see in my hand that says strawberry lemonade, this ain't no doggone strawberry lemonade. My mom has about 7 bottles of these that are filled with raw juice, raw lime juice, raw lemon juice. She has one that's raw ginger. She took the ginger, juiced it, and made a bottle full of ginger juice. Okay. So when I tell you, I walked back into a sacred healing laboratory just to come visit my mom. I came to visit my mom. I walked into a sacred healing laboratory because my mom got everything. my mom has, like, I know that I am a herbalist. That's who I am. But I almost forgot that I came from an herbalist. She was the one who taught me the game. That's one of the reasons I'm medicine resistant. That's one of the reasons that my daughter is medicine resistant. Because we learn from this. When we get sick, power up on ginger. Power up on ginger, raw ginger, with no sugar, no nothing added. Ginger, lemon, boom. And I'm not talking about ginger, oh, I went and got a ginger beer. No, I'm not talking about ginger flavored anything. Raw, okay? Raw ginger. And then raw lime. So the thing about what we are looking at is how your physical ailment connects. What is the spiritual cause? How does it connect to spirituality? Because there is a link. When it came to that parasite for me, it was, how are people sucking me? How are people taking from me but not offering me anything? Who came to take from me? Who came in my life to take from me? Who came in my life with spite? Who entered my life with bitterness, with jealousy, with envy, with strife? Who came in with evil eye? And there was spiritual warfare for in that particular period in my life. I went to a area, and the area that I went to, I hate to say the people were not for me, but a particular person was not for me. And as a result of this particular person dedicating so much negative energy towards me, I mean, what I'm speaking about, even if you don't believe in spirituality, even if you don't believe in spiritual law, you have walked into a room before where you did not feel welcome. You've walked into a room before and felt the presence of people who were not for you. You've walked in a room before and experienced that. You've walked in a room before and been like, you know what? This doesn't feel good to me. Let me go ahead and exit. That's basic. But I know you're not looking at it that way. It's spiritual. That feeling is your intuition. That this isn't for me, or these people are not for me, that's a vibration. These are all spiritual characteristics. Whether you want to acknowledge spirituality or not, it exists. And so acknowledging it for your physical body is the best thing that you can do. Because your physical body oftentimes tries to give you warnings. Our body be trying to give us warnings. Our bodies be like, cough, cough. I just want to let you know something is on the horizon. Cough. Sneeze. Something is here. Sneeze. Our spiritual body be trying to tell us what's up. But we're not always open to receiving everything that the spiritual body, and ready to receive that. But what I'm challenging you to do is to receive the lesson that is given you, number one, but to also acknowledge, number two, that there's a spiritual cause for it. Every sickness, every disease, every ailment, I don't care what it is, there is a spiritual cause for it. There is a spiritual cause for it. I talk extensively about how rough my life was. In Goddess Awakening, I talk about how rough my life was. And my life was rough like that in the beginning because there were spiritual conflicts taking place. When I entered into the marriage with my husband years ago, I entered into that marriage with spiritual baggage. I came in with a lot of old hurt, old pain, old trauma, old this, old that, oh, woe is me. I came in with all that anger and all that sadness. I came in with that. So when I'm now exhibiting the signs of that in our relationship, it makes sense. Because that's how I came in. I approached the gate like this, Your Honor. Your Honor, I came in from the gate like this. That's how I came in. So it took me a while to actually identify my body is 200 pounds, not just because of what I'm eating, but it's like that because of the emotional baggage that I'm carrying. I got a lot of emotional weight on me. I'm carrying too much stuff. At that time, I was carrying baggage from my childhood, carrying baggage from past lives, carrying baggage from my mama, probably carrying baggage from her mama, carrying generational baggage. Girl carrying baggage from Decatur. Like, I'm just carrying everybody's baggage. I had everybody's bags. I had everybody's bags. I had bags upon bags upon bags. I had clutter. In my previous video, or the previous topic about being possessive about your trash, I know that. I know being possessive about your trauma because I was possessive about my trauma. I was carrying all that stuff. Listen, bags was heavy. I had a heavyweight medal. You feel me? I had a whole medal. Like, I'm the heavyweight champion. I don't know what reward I was going to get, but I was heavyweight champion. Okay? So, all of that to say that with our bodies, it's no different. When we got things in our bodies and we're carrying these things in our bodies, then they manifest themselves in other ways if we do not nip it in the bud. Give thanks and praise as soon as the parasite enter my body, because my body is like a prism, it's like a holy prism, I immediately recognized it. I was like, whoa, wait, this ain't gonna work. Let me get on top of my P's and Q's. I had already planned my trip to come and visit my mother. I didn't know I was gonna get a parasite. I didn't know I was gonna need to be in the healing laboratory, but everything else knew. And I landed here exactly when I needed to land here to be able to get all the medicine that I need to get, all the herbal medicine, all the peace and solitude, all the tranquility that I needed to get myself together. Because I'm not sure that I would have been able to do it at this level where I was at. I'm not sure I would not have had this level of support where I was at. Okay? So when things strike, don't ignore it. When your body's speaking to you, don't ignore your body. Do yourself a favor, because this is what I would say to you about your body. Before your partners, before your loved ones, before your children, before anybody, before your friends, before your siblings, before anybody was even relevant, before you had anything in your life, you came in this physical portal. You came in this body. You owe your body everything. You owe your body everything. And you owe it a minute to sit down and listen to it. When it's hurting, listen to it. Listen to your body when it's hurting. Stop trying to ignore your body. Stop trying to tune it out. Oh, later. I don't have time for that right now. I got to keep going. Stop that. Stop it. Listen to your body. Embrace your body. Body, thank you. Oh, you was hurt? Oh, body, thank you. I needed to know that, because I'm going to book you a massage, body. Say less. Body, say less, body. I'm going to book you a massage. Take care of your body. Take care of your body. Take care of your body. It's only one body you get. You don't get another body. You can do anything you want. You can renovate. You can upgrade the body and do little upgrades here and there, but you don't get another one. Not until you leave out. And I don't know if you're going to get another. I don't know if you're coming back to get another one. I don't know. Okay? And I don't know if this is possible, but is it possible for you all to share the video? Share the video if you can. I think there's buttons on the bottom of the screen. Share the video. Share with your friends. Because this is a candid conversation about physical ailments and spiritual causes. When your body is going through, don't ignore your body. Please don't ignore your body. I know that it is habit to be like, I will deal with this later. Ow, I have a pain. I'll deal with that later. Ow, this neck is hurting me. I'll deal with that later. Ow, my stomach hurt. Or better yet, let me pop a pain killer. Okay, ow, this happened. Let me pop a painkiller. Oh my gosh, I'm sneezing. Let me pop this antihistamine. I know that's what you call the easy way out. That's what you call the easy way out. I want to challenge you. Do some investigation. Do some investigation and see what's up. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, body? Hey, body. Hey, body, I hear you. I hear you talking to me. What's up? Talk to me, baby. Tell me what you need. Because I'll be talking to my body like that. I'll be like, body, oh, you all right? All right, tell me what you need. If I can help you in any way, I am here to help you. We are one. We are on the same team. We are one. We're on the same team. Tell me what you need. Because it's three primary members on your team. You got mind, body, spirit. The end. Mind, body, spirit. That's it. So everything in that team lineup is connected. Everything in that team lineup is connected. So if your body's not right, something is off kilter, off balance, because it's a balancing game. It's a balancing game. So that means that the mind is also thrown off. And that definitely means the spirit is also thrown off. You can't have one at full capacity and the other's on 0%. That's not how this works. This is a balancing game. This is we're trying to balance, we're trying to harmonize, we're trying to synchronize everything. And if you get sick, if something happens to you, do your work and investigate the spiritual side of it and see what is the spiritual cause so you can support your mind in it as well. Because not all of these sicknesses and not all of these infections are coming to you organically. Some of you are under attack, you're under attack, spiritual warfare, you're under attack. I never believed in it before. I never would have gave any credence to it before. But it exists. It exists. These old people who were saying, yeah, I'm a spiritual prayer warrior. Like, I used to be like, okay, you got your boots, you got your fatigue. Like, who would have thought? And it's not necessary to do that. You don't have to put on fatigue, clearly. However, it is worth the conversation now to just acknowledge that these elements that we experience on a day-to-day basis when it comes to our body, infections, challenges, parasites, anything that makes us sick, it is worth looking at further investigation to see the spiritual cause of your ailment. Do your body that favor. Your body has done so much for you. It's been with you all these years, as Reverend Goddess Charmaine says. Your body has been with you all these years. Your body has held you down all these years. When you were sleeping with people that you had no business sleeping with, your body held you down. When you were eating food that was toxic for you, your body held you down. When you were getting sick, from being outside with no jacket on in the middle of winter, your body held you down. When you wanted to pop, your body has held you down. Your body has been there for you. So be willing to be there for your body. Be willing to acknowledge, you know what, body? You know what? You've done right by me. So I'm going to do right by you. And if you are sick, if you are not feeling well, if there's something up with your physical body, investigate and see the spiritual reason, the spiritual cause behind it. See what's really behind the door. See what's really behind the door. Because sometimes some of these things, they are the most unexpected things. They're unexpected. You look at the spiritual cause and you're like, wow, I didn't even realize that was still coming up in my life. But it's there. And it's being manifest right now in that sickness. So address it and deal with it. So that is today's lesson. That physical ailments always have a spiritual cause. And if there is a physical ailment, it is not just physical. It's going to affect you with your mind and your body and your spirit. All right? I love you all. I'll see you sooner rather than later. And don't forget to download Goddess Awakening, which is now on Audible and Kindle.